Hello, UNT Dallas family. My name is Arthur Lumsey Jr., and I serve as the Director of Career Services. Today, we're honored to have with us Rod Hooker, who serves as the Talent Acquisition Manager for GM Financial. Think of it as his role as being that if you're trying to work with GM, chances are Mr. Hooker is going to see your information, and he is one of the decision makers. So I felt that based on today's topic related to virtual interviewing, that it would be good to hear from the expert. So I would like to give a warm introduction to our good friend, Mr. Rod Hooker with GM Financial.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Arthur. I appreciate that introduction, and thank you all for just joining in on this topic today. As we were saying prior to going live and starting the presentation, this is a timely topic, as you know, more virtual video interviewing, recruiting is becoming a part of our day-to-day life and really becoming normal. So this is something that my company and my team is continuing to explore to get better, as well as to identify different ways that we can work with candidates to help improve the candidate experience from a virtual recruitment standpoint. Understanding that no one, I believe, has probably been through anything like this to this extent. Virtual recruiting and interviewing, of course, has been around for the past couple of years or so, as far as video interviewing and virtual career fairs, things of that matter. But with it now becoming a part of our day-to-day life, I think there has to be more topics and information on how can I, as a candidate, really stand out when I'm now in this virtual environment as opposed to face with someone, sitting in the same room with someone while conducting an interview. So those are just a couple of things that I'm going to go through today. Like I said, we're still trying to figure it out. The things that I'm sharing are really going to be kind of foundational that you could take with you and hopefully you can build on for the future. But I'm sure over the next couple of months or so, there's going to be more and more information to come out in order to help us all get better with this virtual recruitment environment. Before I go any further, just to kind of give a brief background over myself at GM Financial, I support our university relations and employer branding team. So my team is normally the individuals that go out to the university to speak with candidates about potential job opportunities we may have available for full-time as well as internship opportunities. And we are responsible for increasing our brand awareness on campus. So any marketing materials that you may come across regarding GM Financial, our team probably has some type of hand in that. I've been with the company for 7 years now, working all in talent acquisition. I've supported basically every business function that we have within the company and have been with university relations for the past 4 years. Arthur and I, we connected about, what was it, maybe a year and a half ago, Arthur, probably even longer, but we began to talk about several different things just as far as how our company can engage with UNT Dallas to strengthen our partnership. How can we get more visible on campus? So we're fairly active. You know, we've been to a couple of different fairs. We've been to a lot of different engagement events. We have other parts of our business that partners with UNT Dallas as well. So we consider UNT Dallas one of our partner schools. We definitely try to make sure that Arthur knows what opportunities are coming available and what type of opportunities that we would like to expose to the students. We have locations not too far from the campus. Actually, our closest location is in Arlington, right off of Interstate 20 and Collins. But our company is based in downtown Fort Worth. So we are a local company, but we have a global presence. We have offices all across the United States as well as the world. And our company is the subsidiary of General Motors. They're our parent company. So what we do is provide auto financing solutions to GM dealerships whenever a customer goes in to purchase a vehicle and they need financing. We will be one of the lenders to provide them the financing they need to purchase that vehicle. So just a real quick overview of the company as well as myself, but on to the more important matters regarding virtual recruiting. This whole environment that the pandemic has really thrust us into honestly kind of caught myself and my team off guard. We definitely were not set up in order to do anything at this level or scope for virtual recruitment. The only things that we had done in the past was virtual career fairs, and that was on a extremely limited basis. But along with that, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate, we adjusted. We definitely pivoted on a dime in order to get up and going with our virtual recruitment efforts via Zoom or via WebEx events in order to host webinars and info sessions for university students and talent. So that's what our team has been doing for over the past couple of months. We've had a couple of different information sessions. We've had a couple of coffee chats as well as webinars just to talk about job opportunities that we have available within our company. But there's still more that we're trying to learn about as far as how can we connect with the candidates to make sure this is a quality experience for them. Of course, with you not being face-to-face to someone, it kind of seems a little weird at first because you're talking through your phone, your tablet, or whatever device that you may have. And it just kind of seems like that there's not a connection there. But at the same time, I would encourage everyone to still approach it like you are there in person on site with that person. So one of the things I definitely want to emphasize is whenever you find yourself, say, in a video interview with an employer, approach it like you're going to an on-site interview at that employer office. Make sure that you're prepared, getting ready beforehand. Don't try to log into the video interview right at 12 o'clock if your interview starts at 12 o'clock. As Arthur mentioned earlier, bake in a couple of minutes prior to join and give yourself an opportunity to get settled in, because you never know from a technology standpoint what type of issues you may come across. Everyone has dealt with technology in some kind of way, whether it's your phone, tablet, laptop, and it could be so frustrating when you can't get access to some, or your phone just decides not to act right at that particular time. So in order to avoid any mishaps or any frustrations on your end, give yourself an opportunity to jump in early to make sure that there are no issues from a technology standpoint. What we have started to do as a practice is schedule a test time with the candidate. As we're speaking with them during the pre-screen, we'll ask them as far as their technology capabilities, what they have available, whether it's a smart device, tablet, anything like that, to see if they have the capability to do a video interview. And if so, we ask them if maybe we can do a really quick 5 to 10 minute test run prior to the actual interview, just to make sure that there are no issues on their end or on our end regarding the technology. There are a lot of different platforms out there, and some are compatible with certain devices. So we just want to make sure that that is one of the issues that we can eliminate prior to the actual interview time. That may be something that you can ask as well if you are selected to video interview with an employer. Maybe see if there's an opportunity to schedule a really brief testing with either the recruiter or sourcer that reached out to you, just for the sake of ensuring that there are no technology mishaps prior to the actual video interview with the hiring manager or the decision maker for that position. In addition to that, whenever you are presenting yourself on the video interview, make sure that you would dress like you're going to an actual interview, even though you are at home, or you are in an environment where it's not typical for you to get dressed up. Still present yourself in a way that you are ready for the position that you're interviewing for. Again, I know it's weird getting dressed up and you're just going to be talking through somebody through your phone or whatever other device. But like I said, those are things that you want to stay in the habit of doing, as well as to continue to make that impression with the employer. Keeping the habit of dressing for success, I don't think you can go wrong with that. Now, there's a lot of different articles out there about, oh, you can just dress from the top down to your waist. You can have some basketball shorts on or yoga tights below the screen if you want to. That's completely up to you. But whatever makes you feel comfortable and push you in that mindset of, hey, I'm here interviewing for a job, I suggest that you go that route. Whether it's getting fully dressed or just doing top to mid, just only showing the top part as far as dress, I'll leave that up to you. Whatever makes you comfortable and just push you in that mindset that you're ready for this interview, I suggest going with that. And another thing is, I really believe in this day and time, it's probably a good idea to get as familiar with the company as you can through doing research, going and researching the company beforehand, whether it is on their website or whether it is during the pre-screen. Whenever you're talking with the recruiter, just try to find out as much information about the company as you possibly can. Like I said earlier, you're not meeting with them on site or face-to-face. So you may not have an opportunity like you've had in the past to connect with them one-to-one to get information. But if you have access to their website or maybe going to Glassdoor, Indeed, or some of the other sites that allow for current team members or that allow for former team members to post information about their experience with the company, go and research to see what information that you can identify about that company so that you can ask certain questions within the interview. You may not have that chance to go on site to look at the actual facility to kind of observe and see what the culture or environment is at that office. So utilize some of the information that's already available out there from past team members to help you identify what the company culture is, or at least identify some questions that you can ask during the actual video interview to get that information. Environment is really key. Make sure that you are in an environment where there's not a ton of distractions. I know a lot of us still have our family at home. You have kids, siblings, spouse, pets just running around and they're doing their own thing, not understanding that you may have the most important call in the world or video interview going on in the world. So you want to make sure that you position yourself in an environment where those distractions do not have the potential to impact what you're doing in your video interview. The less distractions, the better. As well as your environment, making sure there's nothing on the walls that could be deemed disrespectful or anything like that going on in your background that may indicate to the employer that, oh, this person has this kind of insight or mindset. Not having a picture of a half-dressed person on your wall. I don't think you want to be in that environment whenever you're conducting your video interview. So you may want to remove that or remove anything else off your wall that could be considered as offensive. That's what I was looking for. That's the word I was looking for. As well as, like I said, with noise background and things like that, make sure the TV is off or muted. Your phone is silenced. If there's someone else in the house with you, let them know, hey, I'm on this video interview. I'm not going to be available from this time to this time. So they'll know as well not to barge in and interrupt what you have going on. I can't tell you how many times I've been on a webinar or a video interview and my kids will stick their head in the door and asking a question, not understanding that I'm actually on a video interview with someone. But at the same time, I think some of the employers are really flexible regarding that, because they know this is something that has never happened before, with everyone being at home. So if it does happen, I would say don't beat yourself up too much behind it. A lot of employers are understanding about that and know that there are still people at home with you. So, I just said, just try to mitigate that as much as you can if you have that capability to do so. And then the last thing really that I will leave you with as far as video interviewing is continue to follow up after the interview, checking in with the employer, doing your due diligence before the video interview ends to find out what are the next steps, to find out how can you follow up with them, knowing that they may be out of the office. You may not have that chance to call them directly on their office line. Their mode of communication may have changed. It may be best to communicate with them via email at this point because they're now out of the office. So still try to find out that information as far as what that's going to look like, as well as if you are extended the job, knowing what that's going to look like from an onboarding standpoint. Make sure you ask those questions as well. Are they working remotely right now? Do they have certain regulations or limitations about team members working on site? What does that process look like? I think those are all valid questions that we have to begin to ask to understand how that's going to impact you. These are some things that people are currently dealing with right now. I know these are some things that our company is going through right now, and we're still trying to navigate and find out what's the best course of action. So I would recommend everyone ask those questions as well, so you can find out if this is something that works with your comfort level as it relates to going to work in an office, or are you going to be working off site? Do you have to wear a mask? How are they cleaning the facilities? Things like that. How much interaction you're going to have. So those are all valid questions I feel like we can start to ask at this time. As it relates to virtual recruitment in general, just attending webinars similar to this, virtual career fairs, things like that. One of the biggest things that I would emphasize that I've heard from other employers is just continue to maintain a professional demeanor as it relates to when you're communicating with someone via chat. I know on our devices, we tend to shorthand and abbreviate a lot of different things and use acronyms like LOL and all sorts of things like that. I would recommend not doing that. If you do attend a virtual career fair or any other event that allows for you to chat with the employer, because again, some of them may not know what it means for one, but at the same time, that's more informal. I would just say conversation via chat, as opposed to just approaching it with typing out the word fully within the chat. But that's one thing I definitely want to make sure I call out as well, because I've heard that on a couple of different calls with different colleagues and peers regarding candidate experience as it relates to virtual recruitment. I think my time may be up. Is it, Arthur?
No, you good. I know
Okay.
one question, and I don't know if our guests have any questions, but I want to begin by asking, as it relates to video interviewing, do you find that it is mostly, at least for you guys, is it mostly live interviewing or is it pre-recorded interviews? Because I also know that that's
Mhm.
something that is taken off as well. That was a little bit pre-COVID-19. We just wanted
Right.
your take on that also.
Yeah. So ours is at this point is live video interviewing, but we are transitioning to a system where it will be both pre-recorded video interviewing and then also transitioning to the live video interviewing. There's a company out there that we're using called HireView that does pre-recorded video interviewing, so people can hop on their smart device or any device and answer interview questions day or night, and record themselves while doing it. We'll have a chance to go back and look at those recordings and then reach out to you to ask additional questions to set you up for the live virtual interview after that, if you are selected to move forward in the process. But that is something that I think will probably become more normal is as companies are looking to identify different technology platforms to help them during this time frame that may become commonplace in the future.
Gotcha. And am I correct in thinking or that HireView also leverages artificial intelligence? So they're pre-recorded
Mhm.
questions, everybody get the same questions, and they transcribe your answers and they transcribe
Mhm.
your reactions to the answers too.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, they have a pretty intuitive system that does some of that AI that you mentioned, just kind of reading facial expressions and things like that. They work a lot with the companies during the implementation and configuration piece to identify how sensitive that needs to be. One of the biggest things for us is we do not want it to cause any type of bias as it relates to reading people's facial expressions and things like that. So we're working very close with them in order to identify and let them know of our concerns. And they have been pretty straightforward in letting us know that it's not like some of the things that you've seen in movies. You know, if you were to pause for 4 seconds, you get dinged on it. Or if you were to raise your eyebrow or something, that gives 5 points. You know, it removes 5 points, anything like that. It's strictly based on your response to the question. And then from that, it just kind of, it takes that into consideration as well as your resume and some of the other application questions that you answered, and create a list of, hey, based on all the things that we're looking at, the criterias, these could be top candidates, but we still have access to look at other candidates as well. So it doesn't exclude anyone out the process. It just kind of let us know based on our criteria who could be the best fit for different roles and things of that matter.
Gotcha. Because I think, is it true that for typical applications, don't know if this is for GM Financial or not, but you can have
Mhm.
hundreds of people who apply. So this
Right,
helps you funnel down to
right.
a, an appropriate number that you can go back and look at.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the biggest thing is it helps us on the front end to kind of weed out those that we know probably wouldn't be the best fit for the role, and there could be something else better for them. But we receive a ton of application and people apply to positions that, you know, they're just trying to get their foot in the door. So what we're trying to do is narrow it down to those individuals that are really interested in that role And we want to make sure that they are being considered for that role, as opposed to, maybe wasting valuable time on individuals that just looking to get their foot in the door. So that's the whole purpose of it, is to allow for us to touch and get in contact with as many people as possible, as well as giving them the opportunity to provide with us and respond to our questions that we have. Because in the past, we just simply haven't had the manpower in order to get through the list of applicants.
Gotcha. Well, are there any questions from our guests?
I would say the biggest thing is for individuals just to come in and know that we're looking for team members that are looking to go to the next level and take us along with them to the next level. So if you are really just kind of looking to come in and do a job, I don't know if any of the hiring leaders would be impressed or looking for someone just to come in and keep the same status quo. It's almost like they are more interested in those individuals that are coming in with ideas. They want those people that, hey, they have an idea, or the manager has an idea or a vision, and they want that person to come in and help execute and take it to the next level, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Those people that can drive, the company to new levels and heights, while at the same time developing themselves, that they're interested in their own career growth and their own career journey, as opposed to just someone that's looking to come in and collect a paycheck. So I always tell people to emphasize that whenever they're interviewing, identify past situations that you've been in where you had an opportunity to step forward and show initiative or lead something or be a part of something that was able to move the needle for the company, the organization, or even in school. If there was a group project or a class project you was involved with, and you had a vital role within that group project, make sure you emphasize that, because those are typically the individuals that are coming in and they're owning their own development, while at the same time looking for ways to improve the company, improve processes, or just do things differently from what they've been doing in the past.
Cool beans. That was awesome. Awesome. Well, I know I want to be respectful of time. We've gone over a little bit, but I feel like it was very timely, and this topic is very timely because it's just from looking at the news, it seems like what we're doing right now is going to be how it's going to be for a couple more months.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that we're arming all of our students and alumni with the tools that's going to help to set them up for success, like making sure they test their equipment, dressing up, researching the company, checking the environment, and following up after the interview. I think tips that will serve anyone well throughout any interview they have, whether in person or virtual, but specifically virtual. And I can't say thank you enough, Mr. Hooker, for giving up your time and talents for our students.
No, thank you for the invitation. And as always, feel free to reach out to let me know if there's anything else that I can add to the conversation. As you mentioned, things are consistently shifting and looking different day by day. So I definitely hope everyone continue to be safe, and just know that there is support out here, is people out here willing to help out any way that they can, as we go through this time together.
Awesome sauce, awesome sauce. Well, thank you everyone for attending today. This now concludes our webinar. Thank you, thank you, thank you.